All right, guys. First off, as always, good day. I'm glad you're here. So today we are going to be looking at one of the, I think, one of the most important groups to ever be formed during the Civil War. Um, and a lot of times when I've been in classrooms, observed or taught other teachers, lessons as a substitute, I notice a lot of times they don't mention this particular group, and to me, that's an injustice. They deserve so much recognition, um, and that's what we're going to do today. So we're going to analyze the significance of creating the 54th Massachusetts. Okay, this is an actual group. We're going to examine who Robert Shaw was and who made up the 54th Massachusetts. You're actually going to find out in your warm-up picture. Okay, and then we're going to create an argument on why would the 54th Massachusetts take on such a dangerous mission. Okay, so we're going to get into that in a little bit. So let's get to the warm-up picture. All right, so there it is. The first question asks you basically, what do you see? Tell me what you see. What's going on in this picture? Okay. The second question is based on the picture, what you see here. Who do you think won this battle? The North or the South? Okay. Now, by now, you should already know who the North and the South are. Um, but just in case you don't, and you have to look it up, look at the uniforms. Which side wore what? That should help you out. Also, there's a big clue in this picture as to who is the North, who is the South. Okay, so just in case you don't know, there you go. All right. So go ahead, take as much time as you need to fill out the warm-up questions, but we're going to be moving on in 3, 2, 1. All right, so here's the thing. January 1st, 1863, Lincoln issues the Emancipation Proclamation. Now, remember the theme this year of breaking the mandala. This is one of those things. Because the thing is, a lot of people think that the Emancipation Proclamation means all the slaves are free. It's true, but it's not true. Okay, because here's the thing. It does free the slaves, but only during a time of war. Okay, and basically what it says is to say that let's say the North is right here. Okay, the South is down here. This is their border. They cross into the South area and they actually conquer some area. Now, that area that they conquered, if there's any slaves there, they are now deemed free. But here's the problem. Once the war is over, legally, those slaves have to go back to being slaves. They are no longer free. Because again, the Emancipation Proclamation says only during a time of war. So as long as the war is going on, they are free, and if the North conquered that area. But if they didn't, those people were still slaves. Okay, so when we come back from winter break, um, we're going to be talking about that dilemma that Lincoln had. He issued this, but again, once the war is over, they have to go back to being slaves. So how does he get them free? Okay, so keep that in the back of your mind until uh, basically next month. Okay, so here's the thing. There's an idea spreading around in the North to where African Americans should be soldiers. Why not? Why not have them fight too? There's a lot of people, predominantly white, who are fighting for the freedom of these slaves. So they're like, why not have some black soldiers? Now, here's the thing, you have to remember, Lincoln's original goal was to bring our country back together. Right? He originally said whether this country, if I have to basically say, yeah, we're going to be slave to get this country back together, I'll do it. If saying they are free, if that brings us all together, I'll do it. Whatever it takes to bring our country back together instead of separated as two. Okay? But at the same time, He wants to free the slaves. So now here comes this dilemma. What does he do? Does he get a bunch of African American soldiers and have a fight, which would then only tick off the South even more? Or does he not allow it at all, and then that upset the Northern people, you know, at him? Well, luckily Lincoln doesn't have to do anything because in February 1863, the Massachusetts governor, John Andrews, basically makes a call for black soldiers. But here's the problem. There's not that many black soldiers or black citizens, residents in Massachusetts. There's there's some, but there's not a lot. But by 2 weeks end, after the announcement was given, a bunch of African Americans came into Massachusetts to sign up. These guys came from all over New York, Ohio, Illinois, Indiana. Some even went to Canada. Now, here's an even more impressive little fact. Of those 1,000 men, about a quarter of them, about 250 of them, were former slaves. These guys have been beaten and chained for a majority of their life, and then they got their freedom. They escaped somehow this long journey through to get their freedom. And now that they have it, they're like, I'm going to go fight. You have to give up to these guys because they did so much to get their freedom. And they could easily say, I got my freedom. No, I don't want any part of that. I want to enjoy my freedom, enjoy the rest of my life. But they didn't. They signed up. So that's why I say these guys truly deserve to be commended, because again, to sacrifice your freedom to save others, that's amazing. Especially at this time when these African Americans are seen as nothing like other than property. You Fathers and sons joined together. Same thing with uncles, and nephews, things like that. So family members signed up. Even Frederick Douglass, we talked about him like last month. He was the guy who was a slave, wrote a book about the life of a slave, became really rich, bought his freedom, right? He signed up his own sons, right? Because you have to remember too, I forgot to mention this, but along with Andrews, Governor Andrews, Douglass helped form this group, saying, yeah, we should make a call to get African American soldiers. And in fact, let me sign up my sons. Okay. Now his sons were cool with it after the fact. They were like, oh, okay, you signed us up, cool. But he signed them up before they even knew. Okay. So here's your first question. Why do you think Frederick Douglass signed up his own sons for the war? Because you have to think about these politicians nowadays. A lot of them, they want to go to war over for whatever reason. But when it comes to, oh, well, let's sign your kid up. No. Or they have to make sure that their kid is like somewhere here or in the National Guard or stuff like that. You know, they don't sign them up. And sometimes it has happened where some politicians, their kid is in the front lines. It has happened, but um, usually those people who say we should go to war, they wouldn't want their kid in there, So, so think about that. He formed this group. So do you think he basically was saying, "Hey, I believe so much in this group, I'm willing to sacrifice my own two sons"? Um, do you think that he says basically, "Hey, I'm still the same as you guys, even though I'm rich, I got my freedom, you know, um, I'm nowhere above or higher than you, so I'm gonna sign up my sons, or do you think he really believed in his heart and soul that this is something worth dying for, freeing other people? Okay, so those are just some options. Okay, so go ahead and write down what you think. So we're moving on in 3, 2, 1. So the 54th Massachusetts was created. Now they have the soldiers now. Now they need a leader. And it just so happened that Governor Andrews knew a family called the Shaws, that they truly believed in their heart and soul that African Americans and white people are basically the same. You know, that blood runs through both their veins, things like that. They both breathe air. They're both deserve to be free. You know, that they believe this not just like, oh, yeah, we should all be free. They believe it in their heart, souls, and to the very marrow of their bones. Okay. Now they have a son. His name is Robert Gould Shaw. And he at this time was 25 years old. Right, he'd already been in the war for a couple years, straight out of college, right? And he was at the Battle of Antietam. And as you guys should remember, Antietam is the bloodiest one-day battle in U.S. history. He was there. Now, he wasn't wounded badly, but still. So when he was told, hey, do you want to lead this group? He said, yeah, I'll do it. So they start, training and stuff like that. And then news comes from the South. When they heard about this regiment, they basically made an announcement saying any black soldier who's caught, you're being sold into slavery. It doesn't matter if you were a former slave, a free man, doesn't matter. You are going to be sold into slavery. Any white officer, you're going to be executed. Because remember, at that time in that area in the South, to even teach an African American something, anything, math, English, whatever, it's basically as a sign of you are going against your country. You're going against your race, not country, your race. You know, why are you trying to teach them stuff? We are superior. We are better than them, and things like that. Okay. Now, the first thing of unity, of real to show unity, came when payday came. Right. So this flyer you see here, that's a real flyer that was put up in the 1860s, 1863, I should say, about signing up for the 54th Massachusetts. Okay, as you can see, it says right there, $13 a month. Right, so payday comes, the African American soldiers are lining up to get paid, and they're told, yeah, you're only getting paid $10. Now nowadays, it's like, oh, well, it's $3. That's not much, but back then, $3 was a lot. It was a lot of money, and especially to these slaves. It was like, oh my God, these $3 you can buy a bunch of stuff. You can get a lot of things. We can, because remember, a lot of the, especially the people who were slaves or escaped slaves, they know how to live off very little, because they've done it all their life. So for $3, man, you can do a lot with that. But what happened is they said no. We were promised $13. The white officers, they were paid their pay. They were given the same amount that they were going to be given, and it's more than $13. So what happened is the white soldier said, you know what? That's wrong. That is wrong. Why are you paying us the right amount? And it's higher than $13. But yet you're not giving them their money. So they all decided we're not going to accept. We're not going to get paid until everyone is paid the right amount of money they're owed. Okay. So May 28th, 1863, the 54th Massachusetts marched into the South area. Now, thing is, they have about 1,007 men. There's about 37 white officers. Okay. Now, a lot of these guys thought as soon as they get into the South, they're going to get into battles. They're going to get into fights here and there, things like that. But what ended up happening is they weren't. They were actually used for manual labor, clearing out roadways, chopping down trees. And the times they did get to go into cities, it was basically to burn down defenseless towns. There was no military importance. The people there were basically citizens who were just like basically trying to avoid the war, and they're being ordered to basically take what you need, and burn the town. And Shaw was like, this is not right. You know, we are a new group. We're supposed to be showing what these soldiers can do, that African Americans can fight. you know, that this whole thought that, oh, they're going to run away and things like that. And he's like, no, they won't. But also on this flip side, this what they're doing is giving them a bad image. The image of African Americans coming into the South to burn down defenseless towns and things like that. That gives fuel to the fire to the South, saying, "Oh, look at these these black guys are coming in and they're destroying our towns. These towns that have innocent people and they're just destroying them. Oh, look at see, they're vengeful. See, that's why you should fight them and should kill them because look what they're doing." And Shaw knows this. He realizes it gives them a bad image, and he tells his superiors, "We should be fighting, not destroying innocent towns. Not clearing up roadways." But to the superiors, in one ear, out the other. Now, Shaw does keep going. He does keep pressing, saying, "Hey, look at, we are not here to basically just clean up roadways. We're here to fight." And the top people are realizing, like, yeah, they should be fighting. That's what the whole point of this is. So they say, okay, go and fight. So they go fight. They fought a couple battles. Um, One of them they won, but the thing is, it was at the same time, more or less, of Vicksburg and Gettysburg, the battles we talked about last week. So they were overshadowed. Okay, they were overshadowed by those victories. Um, and then one day, actually July 18th, 1863, uh, all these regiments are talking about how they're going to take over this place called Fort Wagner. Fort Wagner was a tough cookie to break. Okay, it was a well-built fort, and the top people have a plan. Basically, they're going to send one group in, and that one group is going to basically do like a blitz, full out, bam, hit them right up the middle, and then when they get inside, they're going to spill out, basically kind of create a lane, and then that's when the next group is supposed to come in, and they are going to come in, and then another group's going to come in, and they're going to come in, and that should overwhelm the people in the fort. Okay, but they need someone to volunteer to go first. And Shaw says, "Me and my men will go. We'll do this." So he took 600 of his men and they went a full fledged attack on Fort Wagner. Now, they left at dusk, which is when the sun's going down, and they attacked at night. So Shaw's going there and they make their way through. They're getting shot at, cannon fire, things like that. They get to the wall, and there they basically see there's 1,700 men with cannons already loaded up, guns already made. So all they have to do is shoot, grab another one, shoot, grab another one, shoot. Um, and so Shaw's like, "Okay, well, let's do this." So he starts charging up the wall. He gets shot in the chest and dies immediately. Right now, after that, the soldiers start. That was their oomph they needed, and they start charging up the walls, and they spill into there, and they start fighting. They get inside, and they start fighting, and all of a sudden, they start getting pushed back, pushed back, pushed back. And by that time, that's when the next group is barely getting there. They fight for a little bit, but they're overwhelmed too, so they all retreat. So of those 600 men, 281 of them are killed, wounded, or captured. Like I said, Shaw's shot, killed, and when the South is burying these guys, they put them in one big, massive grave. And what they did was they buried Shaw there too. Now, that might not sound bad, but to the Southern people, that's a sign of disrespect because you're not supposed to bury a black man with a white man, or vice versa. That's disrespect to the white man. So they basically sent a message to his family saying, "We buried him with his," and they use the N word. And they're thinking, "Oh, yeah, his family's going to be like, oh, how could you to our son? Oh, my goodness." But in reality, his family was like, well, good. Thank you. Thank you. They said there's no holier place to be buried than surrounded by brave and devoted soldiers. They're like, that's what he would have wanted. He would have wanted to be buried with his men, the guys who fought so gallantly, so bravely. You did us a favor, so thank you. To this was a big old slap in the face to these Southerners. They're like, no, it's not an honor. It's not an honor to be buried with a black man or black men. No, what's wrong with you? So they took it as it's supposed to be a diss, but the family was like, you did us a favor. Thank you. All right, so that picture of the guy right there, that is Shaw. Remember, he's only 25 years old right there. This statue right here, this is a commemoration for the 54th Massachusetts. It's to honor them. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if you guys know this or not, really quickly, but during the summer when all those statues, Civil War statues, were being defaced and spray painted and stuff like that, this was one of those that was spray painted too, you know, by some people. They try to put like Black Lives Matter, stuff like that, and it's like, do you not realize that this is actually paying homage to the first black regiment? You know, it's a sign of respect, and here you are spray painting it. It just goes to show you guys that you should really know your history, okay? Because those people who spray painted that stuff, I hope they feel really, really dumb and really stupid when they found out what it was meant for, that it was a sign of respect and not a diss to African American soldiers. All right, so here's your next question. Do you think that the 54th Massachusetts should be regarded as heroes? Why or why not? Now remember, they only fought in like several battles, very little. All right. Other platoons have fought in like 10, 20, 30s, you know, higher numbers. These guys didn't fight in too much. So do you think they should be regarded as heroes? Why or why not? Should the amount of battles that people have been in say, hey, yeah, you deserve to be a hero because, you've been in so many battles, things like that? Or should people be regarded more or less of a hero depending on the number of battles? What do you think? You tell me. What do you believe? Okay, there's a writing prompt on the bottom. Go ahead and pause the video to answer it. But we're moving on in 3, 2, 1. All right, so now we come to the exit ticket question. Remember, just pick one of these. So, do you think Shaw was too young to be in charge of his own platoon? Okay, remember, he is 25 years old. He's only been in the Army for like 2 years, and he's fresh out of college. Do you think he's too young to be in charge of so many men to say this is what we're going to do, things like that, and you know, to take command? What do you think? Okay, and why? Why or why not? And the last one is, why do you think the 54th Massachusetts took on a suicide mission? Because that's basically what that mission was. To go first and break through the line, that's a suicide mission. It really is. So why do you think they took it? Why do you think they said, give it to us, we'll do it? Okay. Be sure to explain your reasoning. Okay. So that's it for this lesson. I hope you learned something new. I hope you enjoyed yourself. But more importantly, guys, I really hope you guys have a good, relaxing break. Please, please, please take care and be safe. Okay. I'll see you guys later.